What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Swanky Disc Golf. Today we are talking top 5 weirdest disc golf discs that actually work. Yes, all of these discs are going to be PDGA approved and ideally more than just a gimmick. Still a gimmick, but more than just a gimmick. Let's jump into number 5. And at number 5, we have the Sonic. Yes, for those of you who are longtime disc golfers, you know the Sonic, you hate the Sonic, or you love the Sonic. If you're new to disc golf, you might not have heard of it yet, and that's gonna be true for a lot of the discs on this list. The Sonic specifically was pretty much made famous by Garrett Gurthie and Innova Disc Golf. It's essentially, you know, those free plastic discs they for some reason give out to advertise at like random corporate functions. It feels like one of those, except for in nice plastic, at least the Halo plastic, which is a really weird contrast because that's really the type of disc it is. It even has the little ridges on the rim. It's got this massive pop top, and then the inside rim is completely thin like a lid. The numbers on this guy are 1 to -40. That is part of what makes it so unique and so weird. -40 makes it such an understable disc. The function comes in a way that we see Garrett Gurthie use it all the time, and that is actually for longer putts where he can't get a lot of power behind it. You'll very often see Garrett Gurthie if he has to like go to a knee behind a bush or something like that, and all he's really gonna be able to do is get that arm motion and the end like finger pop. This disc is gonna go farther than any other putter that he has in his bag. And even just from a little wrist flick, you might be able to get it to go from hyzer popping up to flat. It's a really unique feeling disc. Like I said, it's a lid, super thin rim. The Halo plastic is definitely a massive step up from the typical DX plastic, but we've had a lot of fun with the Halo Sonic. Even throwing it, you can kind of figure out how much hyzer to put it on to make it actually usable. It's just such a unique disc that it had to make this list. Even though a lot of people know about it now, it is still very, very weird and one of the only discs that looks like this, that is PDGA approved, that you can actually use in a tournament, and you might even find yourself reaching for it in certain situations. The Garrett Gurthie Sonic coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have a true weird disc, a behemoth. This is the Doomsday Discs Bunker Buster. This thing is massive, and yes, it is PDGA approved. They retooled it. I have a prototype, but the retooled one is a little bit more overstable, and the retooled one is PDGA approved, but it's still the same size and weight. The max weight on this disc is 199 grams. I didn't even know that was allowed. And so, like I said, all of these discs are gonna be a little gimmicky, and this one's thing is that it's huge and massive, but it's also really fun, and it is useful. The flight numbers on the prototype, 7.4 -2.2, pretty understable. Kind of weird flight out of it though. Sometimes it's randomly, maybe not randomly, just there's a certain way you throw it that makes it super overstable, but they've apparently made it more reliably overstable. The new numbers are 7.402. Like I said, same size, but they have changed the rim. I think they made the rim a little bit deeper, or the shoulder a little bit deeper, to make it more reliably overstable and useful. But I know there are gonna be some people who pick up this disc and really like the hand feel of it. The rim doesn't feel any sort of strange. 7.402 are very desirable flight numbers out of a disc, and it's just fun. So that's number 4, the Bunker Buster. An honorable mention to pretty much all of Doomsday Discs. I thought about putting the Landmine on the list or the Frag. Doomsday Discs does a really cool job of making creative, fun, weird discs that do work, and they're on the PDGA's approval list. Really cool stuff out of Doomsday Discs. Could have put so many different ones from their lineup in this list. I decided to go with the Bunker Buster because I think it's just the craziest disc that they have. All right, for number 3, we're jumping back into the realm of, if you've been in disc golf for a long time, you know it. If you're new to disc golf, which we get a lot of on our channel, I want to be sure that you are aware of the Reptilian Discs Stego. If you've watched a few videos on this channel, we have made fun of the Stego, memed the Stego. It's a really weird, fun kind of disc that I've often called useless, and I have a lot of people who come to me and say they do actually use this. They bag it or something like it. The main reason I have it on this list is because something super weird and unique in the world of disc golf is this 3rd number right here. Yeah, you see that right there? That is a +1 turn on the disc. For anyone, again, who's new to disc golf and doesn't know, you have speed, glide, turn, and fade. Now, a 4 fade is absolutely ridiculous. It means that if you're a righty throwing a backhand, the disc is gonna want to bite really hard back into the ground to the left. The turn of a disc usually means when you throw it on backhand, you'll see a lot of discs have a negative number there or a 0 there. The negative number means it will want to, again, right-handed backhand, want to turn to the right a little bit before it fades back. Having a +1 there, I don't even really know what the ramifications of that are because it's so rare. There's discs like the AGL Baobab that has a +1. I think the Tilt might have a +1 there. Only truly the most overstable weird discs of all time have that +1 turn. The Stego is also made in a really weird soft plastic by Gateway Discs. It's actually manufactured by Gateway. It's embossed there. We also have Round 1 Immunity. This is from our Disc Golf Survivor series. If you've never watched that, it is super, super fun. You should check it out. We did a whole game show on our channel. You can use this disc. There are situations where crazy wind is at play or you're just so terrified of going past the basket. You want something that's not gonna go very far. This has a super strange blunt rim with a bead. It's all sorts of crazy. It only weighs 156 grams, which usually lightweight tends to mean less overstable. Not in this case. Super weird disc. It's like throwing a brick. Truly the most brick-like disc of all time. But sometimes that's what you would prefer. You could reach for the Stego. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it is a super weird disc. It is PDGA approved, and there are use cases for it. That's why it's number 3 on the list. All right, coming in at number 2, this one is much more niche. I don't think a lot of people will have heard of this one. They've been out for a little while. I don't think they ever really took off. It's just a putter. I'm pretty sure the whole company just makes the one putter. I could be wrong. It's called the Odd Grip Putter. The Odd Grip G1 putter. This is a very strange disc, very unique, but I enjoyed throwing it. I will say it's really understable. It essentially has an undermold, but not an undermold like you have ever seen before. Even from newer tone plastic, it is very strange, very unique. And when you get into this realm of no other company has done this, there's going to be some people who pick up a disc like this and instantly gravitate towards it and say, this is what I've been looking for. There's also going to be a lot of people who pick it up and say, this makes no sense. Why is it like this? And that is definitely the case for this disc. All of us who threw it had wildly different opinions of it. But that being said, functioning as a disc, the plastic felt really, really nice. It was very grippy. It flew pretty understable on longer throws and approaches. Putting with it, if you like more understable putters, which there are a lot of people who do, but there is definitely something to the flight and the hand feel of the disc that is dramatically different than any other disc out there, making it weird, making it functionable also, because if you like that style of grip and no other disc has it, this is the disc for you. It's weird. It's number 2 on the list. It's the Odd Grip. It's literally called the Odd Grip, but it's not so weird that it's not usable. So that's number 2 on the list. And now we find ourselves at number 1. Before we jump into it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Of course, like the video if you're enjoying the content, and drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think is the weirdest disc that you actually like to use. These are discs that we've enjoyed using that are super weird. It's not just like the craziest, weirdest discs out there. As I mentioned, these are PDGA approved and fairly usable for weird discs. Let us know what your favorite weird disc is in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us on our social medias. We also have a podcast that we post every single week, The Swanky Disc Golf Show. We have a lot of fun over there. And now let's jump into number 1. All right, coming in at number 1, probably the weirdest, probably the most useful as well. You might have guessed it. It is the new Trash Panda / Gateway Extraterrestrial 2. What makes this disc unique is that it has a thin 7-speed rim that gradually goes up in width all the way up to a 14-speed rim. It's super strange. People have messed around with these a lot, starting with the Arobi Epic. Trash Panda obviously has a really cool video about this. If you haven't seen that, be sure to go check it out. But the function of this disc that I think is actually the coolest part, I don't know if it really dramatically flies different than a lot of other discs out there, but the fact that you can hold the rim wherever you feel most comfortable is what I think is the coolest part of this disc. I throw 7 speeds all day, every day. If I can throw a 7 or 8 speed disc, I'm going to throw in a 7 or 8 speed disc. So I love that I can hold it at that 7 or 8 speed slot and throw basically a distance driver shot. What I think is even crazier here is that this is technically 2 manufacturers collaborating, which you just don't get ever. They're not quite the size of a Discraft or Innova working together, but you can imagine it's extremely difficult for manufacturers to set aside the fact that they are competitors and collaborate on a disc. This is so cool that Gateway is doing this with Trash Panda. These are probably the highest quality plastics that I have felt out of Trash Panda and the recycled disc line, and I like throwing it. I like the comfort of it. It's weird, and that's why it's #1. Again, let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can pick these up on Trash Panda's website. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay swanky.